You wake up on a completely normal Tuesday morning thinking the worst part of your day is going to be the headache pounding behind your eyes. Then 5 minutes later, while buying coffee before work, the cashier smiles politely and says, "Morning, how's your day going?" But at the exact same moment, you hear another voice. Not from the room, not from behind you, inside your head. "This guy looks like he hasn't slept in days." You immediately turn around expecting someone to be standing nearby. Nobody is there. The cashier is still smiling normally. Then another thought suddenly appears. Why is he staring at me like that? Your stomach drops instantly, because the cashier's lips never moved. And over the next 24 hours, you slowly discover something that completely destroys the way you see humanity forever. At first, you genuinely think you're losing your mind. You leave the coffee shop trying to ignore it, but the voices keep happening every time someone looks at you. A guy walking his dog passes by. I seriously need to start going to the gym again. An exhausted woman sitting in traffic taps her steering wheel. If one more person cuts me off, I'm going to lose it. None of these thoughts sound dramatic or supernatural. That's the weirdest part. They sound normal, casual, like tiny private thoughts people never intended anyone else to hear. You spend the next hour testing it carefully, and eventually, the horrifying realization finally hits you. You're hearing people's thoughts, not all of them, just the thoughts currently floating through their minds whenever you focus on them. And honestly, for the first little while, it actually feels incredible. Once the fear wears off slightly, the ability becomes weirdly entertaining. The world suddenly feels less serious. You walk through crowded streets hearing random thoughts from strangers like broken radio stations. I definitely left my oven on. Why is that pigeon limping? I should not have eaten that burrito. At work, meetings become almost impossible to sit through because everyone secretly thinks the exact same thing. This meeting could have been an email. You nearly laugh out loud. For the first time in your life, people stop feeling mysterious. Everybody suddenly seems awkward, insecure, distracted, and strangely relatable. Even confident people are constantly overthinking themselves. You start using the ability in harmless ways, answering questions before people ask them, avoiding awkward conversations, predicting what your boss wants before he says it. And for a few hours, it honestly feels like having a superpower nobody else knows about. But then you make a mistake. You decide to visit your parents. Your mother hugs you the second you walk through the door. And immediately you hear, "He looks more tired every time I see him." The thought isn't cruel. If anything, it sounds worried. But hearing it directly inside your head feels completely different from hearing someone say it out loud. At dinner, your father asks how work is going. You tell him things are fine. Then you hear his actual thought. "I still don't think he's happy." You stop talking for a second, because your dad never says emotional things out loud, and suddenly you realize something disturbing. The people closest to you have entire emotional worlds they never fully share. Not because they're hiding things maliciously, but because humans naturally filter themselves constantly. The entire dinner becomes unbearable after that. Every smile feels layered. Every pause feels loaded. And for the first time since the ability started, you wish you couldn't hear the thoughts anymore. But the worst moment comes later that night, when your mom quietly asks if you're eating properly, while secretly thinking, "I miss when he used to talk to us more." That one follows you all the way home. By now, you've stopped enjoying the ability. But there's still one question eating away at you. There's a girl you've liked for months, and deep down you convince yourself maybe hearing her thoughts will finally give you clarity. So you meet her for coffee. At first, everything feels normal. She laughs at your jokes. She smiles. The conversation flows naturally. For a moment, you start believing maybe this whole thing won't be so bad. Then, while you're talking, you hear it. Why does he always try so hard to sound confident? Your chest tightens instantly. You keep smiling like nothing happened. Then another thought appears a few minutes later. "He's nice, but I don't think I actually feel anything." That one hurts more than you expected, not because she's cruel, because she isn't. Her thoughts sound honest, human, temporary. The kind of thoughts people would never intentionally say out loud because they know it would hurt someone. And suddenly you realize something terrifying. Most relationships only function because people soften the truth constantly. Without that filter, human connection starts breaking apart. By nighttime, the ability becomes exhausting. Crowded places turn into nightmares. You step into a subway station and instantly regret it. Hundreds of overlapping thoughts slam into your head at the same time. "I hate this job. I wonder if she's cheating on me. I need money. I should call my brother. I could literally disappear and nobody would notice." The thoughts never stop. Most of them aren't evil. That's what makes it worse. They're deeply human, raw, unfiltered, contradictory, And buried underneath thousands of harmless thoughts, you occasionally hear impulses people would never act on. A man standing near the tracks glances at someone beside him. I could push him right now. You immediately look at him in panic, but the man doesn't move, doesn't react. The thought disappears as quickly as it came. And that's when you realize how terrifying the human mind actually is. Not because people are monsters, because people constantly think things they never intend to do. Your brain was never supposed to hear all of it. The next morning, the world changes. You wake up to thousands of posts flooding social media. Everyone can suddenly hear thoughts. Not just you. Everyone. Live streams explode across the internet showing people breaking down in real time. Couples start arguing publicly. Teachers walk out of classrooms halfway through lessons. Politicians freeze during speeches after hearing crowds secretly mocking them. News anchors struggle to maintain composure on live television while hearing millions of thoughts directed at them constantly. Within hours, society starts feeling unstable, because for the first time in human history, nobody can fully hide what they think anymore. By afternoon, society starts emotionally collapsing. The terrifying part isn't violence, it's honesty. Friends stop trusting each other. Families begin confronting years of hidden resentment they were never supposed to hear out loud. Restaurants grow quieter because conversations suddenly feel pointless when everybody already knows what the other person is really thinking underneath the words. Public spaces become tense and uncomfortable. People stop making eye contact. Online, conspiracy theories spread instantly. Some people believe it's punishment. Others think humanity is evolving into something new. Meanwhile, millions of people around the world keep hearing the exact same horrifying thought inside strangers' minds over and over again. Nobody really knows anyone. And slowly, civilization starts breaking apart under the weight of complete transparency. By evening, entire cities feel different. Roads are emptier, stores are quieter. People wear headphones just to avoid focusing on others. You lock yourself inside your apartment trying to escape the noise, but even through the walls, faint thoughts still leak into your head. Fear, loneliness, regret, anger, and underneath all of it, one shared thought repeating across millions of people: I wish I never heard any of this. That's when you finally understand the real purpose of social filters. Human beings were never designed to communicate complete truth to each other constantly. Civilization depends on softened honesty, tiny lies, politeness, filtered emotions. Without those things, society starts tearing itself apart surprisingly fast. Then suddenly, after 24 straight hours, the voices stop. Completely. No warning. No explanation. Just silence. You sit alone in your apartment, almost unable to process how quiet the world feels again. And over the next few days, society slowly begins pretending everything is normal. People go back to work. Relationships continue. Influencers start posting again. Politicians return to television. But something fundamental has changed forever. Because now, humanity knows what exists underneath every smile, compliment, and conversation. Not evil. Not hatred. Just messy, impulsive, unfiltered human thoughts that were never supposed to be heard out loud. And deep down, everyone now understands the same terrifying truth. If human thoughts were permanently visible, most relationships wouldn't survive.